One of the things I've heard a million times, and maybe you have too, is isn't every crime a hate crime? When we talk about targeted violence, people who are targeted because they're a member of a category, their race, their religion, their sexual orientation, even their political ideology, we're really talking about things that look like hate crimes. And hate crimes are traumatic on multiple levels. Nobody wants to be a victim of a violent crime, but when you're a victim of a hate crime, we see sort of these ripples of trauma. First of all, you're targeted because of who you are, because of your race or your religion or your sexual orientation or your gender identity. That's something you can't change. And so that means if you've been targeted once, you're going to be targeted again. And so we know that people who are victims of bias-motivated violence are affected on a deeper level. Deeper psychological scars. These crimes tend to be more violent in nature because the attackers are trying to send a message. People tend to be depressed, change their patterns of behavior. They're afraid to go out. They're afraid to be out because I was targeted in the past and maybe I'm going to be targeted in the future. So there's a deeper psychological impact. There's a deeper trauma to the victims, but also the communities that those people belong to. If there's an anti-gay attack, for example, there may be fear in the gay community that who's next? Who's going to be the next person that's targeted? And then not only is that group experiencing trauma, a collective trauma, but other groups are collecting trauma. Well, they attacked that community. Maybe they're going to attack my community. Maybe I'm going to be the next. They attacked an immigrant, so maybe they're going to attack me because I'm a person of color. And so we start to see ripples. So think about throwing a rock into a pond, right? And the ripples kind of go out. Targeted violence is like throwing a cinder block or a boulder into a pond, and the waves are much bigger and go farther out. And so one of the reasons we really focus on targeted violence is not just because of the deeper impact on the individual, and we've got the research to back that up, but the waves of harm that go out across communities. And pretty soon, communities themselves are affected. People don't know who to trust, who's on my side, who's on the side of the attackers. Places become stigmatized or associated with crimes. We think about things like Jasper, Texas, or Laramie, Wyoming, or even Portland, Oregon, being associated with violent hate crimes. And so there's a much bigger impact crater. And that is one of the reasons we really focus on trying to find ways to interrupt targeted violence.